Okay, hi, good evening. I'm Ravindra Pandey. I'm the trainer for the session for business analyst, project management, scaled agile, and product owner. It's a kind of combined training sessions come workshop. We are going to learn together, right? So we will start with overall business analyst, then we'll move to project management, then we'll move to agile scrum, skilled agile, and then we'll understand the product owner and the other roles which are getting evolved time by time. We also discuss on Scrum Master. Scrum Master, how it different from the project manager, because these are the industry specific challenges we are facing right now in terms of new management trends, in terms of new project management approaches taken all over the globe, specifically in North America and Canadian regions. So our training sessions are more concentrated towards the American and North American and Canadian regions, because that's the overall region we address as in Guru schools, job market, and support market as far as our area of expertise is concerned, right? Let's go over, let me understand your background in terms of experience, and your overall education, so that I can relate my training much better way, or I can tweak my training more suitable to your thought process, or more suitable to what we are basically going to learn over the next 2.5 months. Okay, so who wants to go first?
Hi, this is Vandana.
Hi Vandana, please go ahead.
So I have been into software actually since I finished my MCA. I have worked in C, C++,
Wow.
starting from Fortran, and then .NET, and then I moved into project management. I did project coordination role for almost a year and a half, and then I have not been working for last I would say 10 years now.
No problem, no problem. So when do you basically start working in development like C++?
I worked on C Sharp, .NET for like 3 or 4 years, I think 3 years.
Which year was that, ma'am?
2006 to 2009.
Okay, no problem. Great. So you must know the SDLCs, and we will revise everything. I'm just trying to understand overall.
Yeah, I know that system development lifecycle, the waterfall model. Yeah, I know all that.
Right. So we'll brush
But
up
the
those
only thing is that it's been like 10 years.
Yeah, I can understand.
I have done my PMP certification. Like I did it 10 years back, 12 years back.
Okay.
I keep on renewing it.
You can revise those things as well. It's
Yeah,
not that, and online is much helpful, because you can have somebody guiding you, just with a laptop, because you can give the exam from home, right? So if you have your husband or anybody, like good friend, they can help you out as well. But that's okay, no problem. Even I can help you out in understanding, getting the question banks and everything.
No, but I have done my PMP. So which questions are you talking about?
No, the PMPs are basically for 5 years, right? They get lapsed.
No. I renew. I just collect PDOs after every 3 years. So I have been doing that.
So okay, you're up and running. Okay, that's really great then. So no worries. Perfect. You can have those logo on your profile and everything. That does helps a lot. And plus you can join the local chapter where you can get the latest opportunities, or you can see the trends, the way they basically trying to make the overall management efficient by remote working and all those things as well. So that's also does help a lot, right?
Yeah,
perfect. That's really good. So we are good. So it will be kind of revision for you for first month and a half, because that's the overall span of trying to understand. Well, business analyst might be new, but overall the PMP, project management, waterfall, agile, all understanding their various SDLCs and comparing in between them. That's good.
Yeah, I have been doing project coordination for like almost 1.5 years before I left my job.
Okay.
Yeah.
So have you worked on Microsoft Project, Jira, something like that?
No, they were not using Microsoft Project. I was using a little bit of Excel, more of the meetings, and then a little of financials.
Okay, wow, great, great. We'll basically start understanding Microsoft project planning with Excel only. How to, plan those Gantt chart, how to get overall, the variance track through Excel also. So don't worry on that part.
So
So we
when
are,
we do the project, we won't be using MS Project.
yes, ma'am.
We will be using, or you're saying Excel?
No, no, we will be using MS Project. We'll be using Jira as well. These are the two most important tools right now used all over the industries.
Yeah.
So you land with either of them. But
And
of
we'll
course,
be,
they have cloud version of Microsoft Project and Jira. So you don't normally install much on your laptop or computer, but
uh-huh.
still you need a good laptop or computer. Well, the company will provide you. Unless you don't want to, you can do it that way as well. But if you practice it, that's really great way to start, frankly speaking, to refresh our skills to basically reach to that level where every project manager is working as of now. So whenever you speak in interviews, you can tell them about your current project working as Guru School as a senior project manager, program manager, or whatever job cadre you want to target to, something like
Okay.
that. Okay.
Yeah, I didn't attend the, I'll be attending on Thursday. I'll be attending that 2 o'clock and 7 o'clock session of Q&A, then resume building.
Yes, yes, that's really helps out because Devji guides us on our regional targets, regional industries we have, in whatever region you are living in, North America or Canada, because there's a lots of study goes into that, right? So what type of
Mhm.
industry, what type of big organizations we have, so that whenever we join somebody, we shouldn't get laid off due to cost cutting and all. That's a chance always, but still, we need to have an analysis like whenever you're going to join, let's say TCS, Wipro, Cognizant. These are quite, what you can say, IT giants. So
Mhm.
they normally don't let it go people because they have good amount of PT, profit margin, EBITDA, whatever you want to call it. We're going to understand its terminologies as well, so that your employment is secure with these guys, and
Okay.
you keep getting whatever you're getting. And that's how we basically get partnered with these. So that's also going to help us out in a long run. Does that make
Okay.
sense, ma'am?
Mhm.
Chalega. So, Priya ma'am, do you want to go next?
Yes. So basically, I have before I left my job and before the gap, I had 7 years of experience working as a senior business analyst and as an assistant manager
Wow.
in India. So I
Uh,
was basically working for NSE IT, where
mhm,
most of our projects were in capital markets.
mhm,
So basically, I'm aware of business analyst, project management. Uh,
mhm.
uh, uh, and as you can see, this is my second time attending this because I'm building my resume also, and simultaneously I just want to get a refresh into everything what I have done, so that I'm ready for my interview. uh,
Perfect.
s- uh, so basically I'm aware of everything, right? Ravindra, but it's just that as I'm building my resume also, so everything is
Yes.
again refreshed.
Perfect.
So so
Yes.
that's the main idea.
Akhilji, are you there?
Yeah, hi, I'm here.
Yeah, Akhil, please go.
Hi. So, sorry, folks, I'm from a non-IT background. Uh,
No.
while I completely am in sync with a lot of the, I mean, if I
Words.
may call them the jargons, not in a very demeaning way, but generally, I mean, I'm pretty familiar with the overall concepts and stuff like that. But I come with about whatever 22 years, 24 years of working experience from. I've largely been into operations and customer service, having worked for some dot coms, but predominantly in the travel line. Um, Service industry, as we all know, has displaced us, has been displaced by COVID, and which is where I am, trying to see if I can. IT has always intrigued me, and the entire development and the whole business analysis part of it has always intrigued me. So I said, why not give it a shot and try and see if I can, find myself a future in IT.
Wow, great, great. And that's a great strategy. Means if you understand the overall how we grown up from a business analyst to project manager to using agile as a flexible project management model, then try to learn the skill agile, follow bring project, what are the things do change, and so on and so forth. So it's a kind of a progression of a typical analyst or a manager to a latest tools and technique level. That's how we plan this whole we can say more of training, hands-on workshop, and so on and so forth. So as we discussed, we are going to learn quite a good amount of tools. We're going to try to use them, and you can use them in your daily life as well. The way I understand knowledge is use them in a day-to-day life, so you can understand in a much detailed sense rather than just speaking hypothetically, right? Even in my cybersecurity, I normally train them how to secure your phone, how to secure your desktop, how to secure your home. If you can't do that, then the cybersecurity is useless. First, try to secure whatever you have in your hand and start at the basics, starts at the ground level, so that you can achieve the success you want to achieve. And we really discuss it that way. So rather than training, I call them discussion session most of the time, and this is what I come from. So I would like to understand the ample of experience you have, and we can basically get enriched with the various samples, examples, and we'll improve our life day to day. And that's what we want to perceive rather than just to have a bookish training. There are a couple of reference books which we normally go throughout the training, like the Business Analyst BA book or BA book, that's what they call it. For project management, we have PMP training guide, PM book. Okay. For Agile, we have Agile 12 principle. For SAFE, we have a good amount of websites. And I'll share a couple of books also with you. If not reading, then I'll have audio version of those books as well. So you can go whenever you're driving or whenever you're going for a long drive, or sitting peacefully on any time, and have a listen to those audio, so that you'll get the knowledge they have collected over the years. These are all matured books, matured reference guides, which will refer throughout our life, rather than just looking at from project management analysis and all those things. Try to look it as we are trying to improve our life. And if you can't, then there's a problem. And I would like to understand from you why you can't apply these things in your day-to-day life as well. So it's not just the detached management kind of sessions we are going to have. We're going to have really integrate understanding of how your personality can be evolved as the best management enthusiast. And I would like to keep it that way, because we should improve our life day by day, right? You should be happy. And that's what the overall final goal, rather than talking about money every time. There's a satisfaction which your mind demands, and when you're satisfied, your mind can do really good wonders. Believe me, you'll be amazed the way our human mind performs whenever we are cool, calm, satisfied. These are from Acharya Rajneesh books, and they are quite a good number of books. I normally keep reading on philosophy. I do read Socrates and all those things as well. So this is how we're going to share our knowledge. So it's not like kind of one-way process. I would really ask questions, in between. What do you feel about overall, why we should adopt it, why we shouldn't adopt it? And I like to discuss it if you feel the other way around. And we'll discuss it out. There's no fighting as such, but more of discussion. Even I learn from you, whatever your experiences we have, whatever, your take on understanding of the words I'm saying. I might say some wrong words and you might correct me. And that's happens, quite a few times. So don't worry on that part. Please do speak up from your mind. Don't wait to ask questions till the end. You can ask questions via WhatsApp, else also no problem. I'm in India right now, so we have that time gap or daylight gap, whatever you want to call it. But still, I'm there to answer your questions. If not, I can might guide you to a particular person or a particular website to go and dwell into that, and that's how we progress step by step. So let's get started. Here we are trying to have discussion sessions on business analyst, project management, skilled agile, and a product owner. These are the four distinct topics we've chosen to have a kind of accelerated training tracks, right? and we're going to work, almost 10 to 12 weeks. And, we're going to understand how we can basically leverage these best practices, evolve over almost a century, and how we can adopt them in our work, in our day-to-day life as well to improve that. Okay, let me get started. Yeah, that's the course name: Business Analyst, Project Management, Scaled Agile, and Product Owner. Okay, as I told you, the BA book comes from BA, iiba.org. Project Management Institute basically shares us the PM book. These are the two basic books which we are going to refer for first two sessions. Okay, and then we'll move on slowly, steadily, and I'll guide you how we basically acquire knowledge through these books, through our discussions, what type of tools we are going to use, and so on and so forth. So we want to go from a problem to solution and the overall evolution of it. That's why I kept that picture. So, well, every change has a resistance. Be it something like, drinking a tea in the morning, right? You feel like, okay, let me have a sleep for a couple of minutes more, and that couple of minutes can go to us. And this is a normal human psychology. There's nothing new about it. So how do you make sure you are up and running whenever you have enough sleep, or you believe you have enough sleep? How to, understand if your body need rest, not, and all those things. How to track these things, okay? How to understand trends, how to understand how your body is basically getting reacted to you and all those things. Okay, so we'll understand these trends as well. About me, I'm Ravindra Pandey. Right now I'm in Mumbai. I have traveled around 18 different countries. I worked around 18 different countries. Well, I have total 28 years of experience. Bachelor in computer, then I did MBA in finance with Wellenkar. I did my law. Right now I'm doing LLM in IPR. Then total from last 18 years, I'm training various governments, corporates on various tools and technology. I got associated with Guru Schools a couple of decades back, and we developed a model to basically trained support and everything, as far as there are a couple of technical tracks like Python, data science, cyber security, project management, DevOps, and so on and so forth. So I basically mentor these sessions with Guru Schools as well. I'm a certified PMP trainer. I'm a certified PCI implementer, payment card. Oh man, there's a spelling mistake. Payment card gateway interface. I'm a cybersecurity expert. I've taught around 6 different big government like Indian government, Cambodian government, and a few others on cybersecurity and the overall SOC measurements they need to erect within their countries. I do basically help out 16 engineering colleges around Mumbai for entrepreneurship encouragement. They call it technology incubation labs. So I help them out to basically create more and more entrepreneur day by day. I do work on robotics, AI, ML, VRML, and the other things as well. Okay, so that's about me. Then let's get started on overall our discussion step by step. How we're going to go through the course. So let's understand point by point. We'll start with business analyst. Then we'll go over history of evolution. How business analysts, if you look at near about 15 years ago, the PM used to do business analysis as well. Means I'm from that area when we started analyzing business as a PM from a PM's chair. So PM used to be BA, then he used to be PM, then he used to be support manager and everything around that. And that's how overall the management have been improved, where we have a separate project managers, we have separate business analysts, we have separate design and architect roles and responsibility, we have separate scrum master, and then we have separate program managers as well. And we'll understand how this different in roles and responsibility of these labels do affect in commonality as well as industries goes. Well, the training is all around IT predominantly, but there are many experiences, there are many learnings from the different domains as well. So this is not IT centric training. That's what I would really like to insist upon. We are trying to improve our life, right? And we are trying to reach to a level where I can manage my life better, be it a finance, be it overall overall daily life operations, be it something like improving my understanding of myself. That's what I'll say, if you want to take me to the end of it. And I would like to understand how you manage your life. Do you do to-do list in the morning? Do you do to-do list in the evening? Why in the evening? Why in the morning? Well, to-do list is a simple list, what I want to achieve today, right? And most of the, if you read the 7 habits of the really great personalities, they will understand why to-do list is a kind of need of the hour, or it's a kind of a best discipline you should have. If you're writing a diary, well, that's okay, no problem. But to-do list is much more important to basically guide us on improving our life disciplines day by day. Okay, and about why these combinations, why we have business analyst, why we have project management. These are basically a kind of management in overall. So if you go anywhere, be it something like if you visit or you plan your holiday, if you know the business analyst and project management, believe me, you can plan your holiday in a much better sense. You can keep improving as well. How do you start? You analyze your thought process. That's the business analyst. You try to understand what I'm planning. Okay, I need to go to, let's say, Niagara Falls with my aunt coming from India. So how many people? Well, there'll be 6 people. There'll be 7 people. So I have to, rent a car van, or I need to arrange a bigger vehicle, because 2 vehicles are a kind of hazy management, right? We might go ahead, they might go lag behind, or we might lag behind, and there could be, we have mobile and everything for communications. But at the end of the day, it's better we can enjoy the leisure activity with the group. Okay, so which car van? This one, that one. Let's try to understand. Let's try to do a kind of SWOT analysis. Let's try to do a kind of fishbone diagram. Let's try to kind of build out pros and cons, as simple as that as well. So this is how you analyze which way better. That's also we can understand pros and cons. That's the simplest way of analyzing things, to make the approach much more disciplined, much more qualified approaches. So that's what BA does. We qualify approaches with different grounds or different dimensions to it. Does that make sense? Or am I jumping points here? Could you understand what I'm trying to say here? Are we there?
Yes, boss. Yeah, I mean, so far so good for me at least.
No problem.
Yeah.
Do keep contradicting me if you feel I'm going too technical or too philosophical. That does happen. I'm a 51-year-old, so we tend to be philosophical nowadays. And keep it light. Please, smile. Please laugh, and that's the way we're going to enjoy our learnings. Okay. So that's about the combination. Then we'll move to the management part of it. How do you want to execute this visit to Niagara Falls? So how do you execute it? Okay, so I need to get that vehicle checked previous day, then get up at 6 o'clock, because then early morning we'll get out of the city and there'll be less traffic. Even interstate gets clogged in early morning because of you know the scenario. I was in St. Louis, I was in Hartford, Stamford, Hyford, I was in Milpitas, CA. So I've traveled a lot around US. I was working with Enterprise Rent a Car as a project lead. So I used to get almost 80% discount. So I have traveled all the best cars in the world as far as North American region is concerned. I've been to Canada with driving and all. So I really enjoy my life there. And I was bachelor at that time. At the tail end, well, I got married, and my wife, we also visited Niagara Falls with the family. My family was there and all those things. So that's how overall experience can make us improve our life day by day. Okay, and that's what the management is all about. So trying to manage my day-to-day life, including the finances, including the quality I want to achieve in support with the finances, or in support with the cost aligned with the management. So I have a kitty, I have a salary, I have a bank balance, or I have a a particular figure in mind that I can spend as far as my Niagara Falls trips goes, be it a 6 or 7 people. So I can prepare myself if I want to add that to the kitty with somebody else's help or not. If I can ask, let's say dad, brother, sister, could we, contribute to the kitty, so that, all these, gas, food, all the expenses can be managed effectively, rather than cutting corners everywhere in the life. And that's the way we can grow together. So that's all about management, how we can improve our enjoyment or leisure activity also. So this is not just for the project or the product or services. We are talking about day-to-day enjoyment of our life also. And that's why we have these combinations. And then we'll understand skilled agile. Skilled agile is like kind of, I want to build my own house. Yes, it's a year, year plus based management you need to understand. Even that analysis might take months altogether. You need to, find the exact spot you would like, be it with the, near shore, or you like dry weather, so or on top of a hill or something like that. So finding out a plot, finding out a place where to build a house. Then what type of basements do we want? Do we want my car or my vehicle to go in the basement for parking? If yes, then we need to plan it that way. If you want just the basement to be a kind of gym, or to be kind of ping pong table, table tennis table, or do you want to have a kind of a simple wall to practice your cricket or badge ball or whatever you want to call it? So that way I can build my house within a couple of years. And that's why we have a specified practice as far as scaled agile goes. It's a big project management, a longer project management, okay, with more resources. Resources is basically man, material, machine. Okay, so we combine all these resources together, we plan them out, we build our management more effectively, pardon me, and more with understanding the financial part, more with the overall spending, more with overall what to achieve on which day, and those kind of planning. And then product owner. A house is a product at the end of the day, right? Product you want to consume, you want to use for at least 10 years ahead, right? So for that, even in North America, we don't normally destruct our house like the American culture. You just destruct your house in 5-6 years and build new. No, we normally at least stay there as far as 10 years or more than that, and that's how we work out. So as far as product owner, how long I want to achieve in terms of how many bedrooms, how many balconies, terrace I want to have, what type of flowers or trees I want to have. Do you want to have a kind of eucalyptus tree, or because these trees take at almost years to grow, right? So which tree to be planted, and so on and so forth. So I need to plan a longer project duration. So how do I do that? What are the tools available to me? What do you mean by development operations? So DevOps is basically combining the overall development or the project management with operations as well. So when we talk about longer project duration, the operations also is a part of overall management, not the way we used to think about project management. Now operations is a part of project management. Whenever we think more than 6 months or more than a year, these timelines depends upon personality or depends upon the perseverance of the thought process, the way you want to implement this thought process in your day-to-day life. Then what is agility? Why we want to be flexible? Why we want to accept things on a face value? Or why do thought processes do change? So, I build a plan for, building house, say around for 2.5 years. And at the end of 2 years, I remember, oh, I need to have a bigger, door. Or I need to have a, one more additional garage for my kids, right? Because they are growing up, they'll need another car. It can be a small car or, a used car, whatnot it may be. But still, I need to have a parking. Otherwise, I need to park outside, which doesn't look good, right? So that way we'll plan it out. So this is agility, to accept change, to accept what thought afterwards. And these two, it's a compromise. Don't feel like you're a failure. Feel like you are accepting things in a much better sense, or you are in day by day. And this is what we call improvement. We'll also understand the overall process models like ISO, CMM, capability maturity model, international standard, then continuous CMMI 5, ITIM, and we will go to discuss on these as well, how to adopt from these principles, how to improve our planning day by day. Then we'll discuss about how agile developments are happening at the ground. What do you mean by extreme practices? What do you mean by Scrum? What is the pair? Scrum is almost 95% of the agile development. That's a standard practice with templatization and everything. I'll also share many templates with you, starting from quite a good amount of template in business analyst. We'll share the template of SRS, system requirements specification, or system requirement documentation. or minutes of meeting. We normally ignore minutes of meeting, but if you look at the bigger company, bigger corporates, they have a specified template for each and every of these policies, each and every of these processes. Okay, so we'll try to understand a couple of templates from the market, and we'll discuss on that, which is the best, which you feel as the best for your personality. Because whenever you join as an BA, we can twist the template. You can create an exception in your project. Being a BA, you can choose whatever template you want, but you can't choose the project planning template because that's kind of approved by the PMO and the CEO and CFO and all those guys, right? So there are some templates we can choose whatever we like because of the content, the colors, shades, and formatting and all those things. But there are some templates which we can't change. If you want to change, we need to raise a ticket, that is raise a request to a body, and they'll discuss and come back to you. Why not? And the return on investment, or rather the improvements you are trying to pursue, why, and there'll be a kind of debate, and then they'll approve, they won't approve, and so on and so forth. So we need to understand how organizations, policies, and procedures do change, how we can initiate such change, okay, and those things. Then we'll try to understand what are the frameworks. Why do we apply framework? Okay, framework is something like you have to call your ant. In India, there are different names for ant. So that's your kaki, chachi, mami, and so on and so forth. But in US, it's just one word, ant. So these are the framework. These are the social frameworks we adopt wherever we grew, right? And even we change. If you go to Rome, you normally talk like Romans. So something like that. So wherever we go, we adopt to the framework. So what are these frameworks as far as management goes? We'll try to understand what is scaling means, how to adopt to the larger scales. And again, I couldn't stress enough, this is a job-oriented training. We might discuss life, philosophy, psychology, and all those things. At the end of the day, I need to earn more. That should be my basic target. So whatever need to earn more, I'm planning to learn. That should be the thought process. Okay, you might feel this is a bit of cunning or a rude, but don't take it that way. Take it, I want to improve my life. I want to come out of these COVID, lags. I want to, come out of these lags of not working for a couple of years and so on and so forth. And that's why Guru School is going to help you out on that, right? And that's why we have all this framework created for you. Okay, so think it as in personal development. We are basically helping you out to develop personally. Then we'll support you out to work it, working together for next couple of months. So this is not a kind of 6 or 8 or 10 weeks of training and they say, hey, bye. Let's meet again sometimes. No. We are going to walk you for your job. We're going to help you on your job. We're going to be there with at least 6 to 8 months, believe me. And that's a normal time frame we are looking at. So whenever you're going to join somewhere, you might need some help in understanding the job environment better, because there are some organizations, as we just discussed, they follow ISO framework, they follow CMM framework, they follow ITISM framework, and so on and so forth. So there are these different industry frameworks you adapt as further your domain of work. Okay, if you look at software company, they mostly go with CMMI 5. If you go with product company or a banking, they normally go with ISO. If you join a company which produces computers, which produces mobile, they normally have ISO implemented within themselves. NASA works on ISA, the software is at CMMI 5, US military works on ISO. So these are all standard frameworks adopted by the big giants, big corporate giants. And if you're going to join one of them, we need to understand these frameworks. So whenever you ask questions to your manager, where can I get this document? There's a specific name attached to it. This framework can guide us on that document name. Even they can guide us where you can ask for. So there'll be intranet wherever you go. If you go and join corporates, there you'll have your own specific, web page created for everybody else to view. Some of it is visible to everybody. Some of it just visible to you or the HR and so on and so forth, right? So we need to understand how the overall organizational support frameworks for a typical, company or typical corporate is going to help us out to learn more, to improve more, to basically get the job done and to earn better salaries. Okay, anybody have any question for me at this moment?
No, we are good.
We are
Yeah.
good, right?
Thanks.
Okay, we're getting warmed up. Don't worry. Oh, come on. Ah, this is the next one. Yes. So let's get started on business analyst. Who want to explain their idea of business analyst? Who want to guide us in their word? What do you mean by business analyst? I think. Well, let me check. Okay, come on. Sorry, pardon me for that. Yes, Priya ma'am, you were there, right, last time?
Yes.
Yeah, could you please explain what you mean by business analyst?
Business analysis is basically when you join any company or when you're doing anything. So you have to understand what is the underlying, what is the requirements, or basically what is the if you're doing if you're in the product industry, so what is the product about, what is the process the company is following, or maybe what is the business the company is doing, what are the different business units, how are they connected. So you understand that first, and then you understand in terms of the software. So what are the requirements in terms of the software?
Right.
Then because first it's very necessary to understand the overall picture, how the business takes place before you come into the IT space. So then you understand, okay, this is how the business is done, and then you analyze each of the processes, and then you relate IT to the business.
Wow, really well. Yes, that's really great. Anybody want to explain their process on business analyst or business analysis as a process? See, this is a need. If you can't speak up your mind, then we have a problem, because then I won't understand what you're learning, right? What you have learned, or how to basically help you out. So I need to speak out. It can be wrong. Don't worry on that part. We are here to discuss. We are here to improve our thought process, right? So yes, anybody wants to go on their understanding of business analyst?
Let me just go in on this. So my understanding is that it's about trying to understand the objective, and once you've understood the objective, try and define the processes, or try and lay down those nuances that can lead us to the objective, and that's what is the role of a business analyst.
That's great. That's great. You added to the, it's a kind of cherry on top of, icing, the way ma'am have explained. So that's really right. So what we're trying to do, we're trying to build a new thing which will fit to the old things, right? Something like that. So you're trying to develop a product with the help of functionalities, frameworks available with us as of now. So let's say if you're trying to introduce a new product, let's say you want to start manufacturing pen. If you have a company which was manufacturing stationery earlier, so plastic, ink, this tip, that tip, and all those things. But if you have an existing organizations or existing machinery setup, you will try to understand, can I use something of that sort from that as well? So your new vision or your new overall improvement in your factory, in your day-to-day life, how they can be channeled or fit into the current thing. So I am actually improving with ease, improving with the best I can bought it on the table. That's what the analysis means. And for that, we have some good discipline process. Over the ages, we learn how to improve ourselves day by day, right? And for that, we'll understand what is business first. Business is basically to acquire profit or to collect profit by doing certain things. Profit in the sense to earn money, to earn dollars, right? How do you earn? So you do business. You purchase something, you sell something at a higher dollar price. So you earn few dollars by this process. If you keep doing it multiple times, you build your business over the time. So you might earn millions per year, you might earn billions per year, depending upon the overall thought process or the product monopoly and the environment or policies and procedures you follow informed business dealings. And that's how we business. How do you analyze? You analyze in terms of you understand the scenario. You understand what I have in my hand and where we want to reach. We try to understand the gap study. So if you want to add new things, what are the things I need to do? Which is the best way to do it, right? Then I create some sort of reports. What do you mean by reports? You share your communications with others so that they can suggest you improvements from their experience as well. So normally analysts work in a team. When you go senior, you might lead an analyst team, but to start with, you do analyze, you do observe, you note down those things. You create a report, and these report can be as simple as minutes of meeting. These report can be as simple as, I don't think this is possible. And that's also kind of learning. Don't think it is a failure. Think it is, we got the experience of it and we'll improve in our life in the next stage. So now I know what we can't do, right? And this is based on the facts and figures. And you share these facts and figures with everybody around you or the team within team with the help of reporting. Okay, and for that, there's an institution called IIBA. Now it's a big company. It's called International. Okay, let me take you to the website only. I keep forgetting the overall, name of that. I'll not say website, but how to, pronounce the IIBA.org. Okay, let me stop share and share the screen again. Where am I? Okay. Could you see this screen? Achieving more with data. Hello.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is the website I'm talking about. This is called International Institute of Business Analysts. It was a body started with a couple of scientists. They started defining process for analysis, because when you do analysis in North America, it should be in sync with the analysis you do in India, right? And so on. So I'm just taking a raw example here. So how do you standardize those process? So for that, they build a framework, they build a discipline, they build some good amount of new verbs and new policies and procedures, and they combined everything into a book called IIBA. So whenever you get time, today, tomorrow, do register here. You can just say join and you can get registered free of cost. They'll send a mail, one mail on a weekly basis, so that you get to know what is new happening in business analyst world. Okay, and that's how we start learning as a group, as an overall understanding from the scientific body, how we are improving in terms of business analysis process, do and don'ts of online proctoring. That was planned on 3rd March at 12 p.m. 12 noon ET, Eastern Standard Time. These institute are basically work on Eastern Standard Time, and so on and so forth. So here basically they have given all those, even we have success stories, we have really great amount of guidance in terms of how to be a good BA. What is this, Scrum Mate, how this Pestit works, what type of, webinars. There are quite a few webinars if you want to try a business analysis, as a career, which is also good, which can easily, give up to 100K plus in your, yearly remuneration, basically. Okay, and this is pretty much updated website. So please do, visit this website, have a look at it, and if you have any challenge, we can discuss it in the next time as well. Okay, so that's about overall trying to join a body where we are learning with the matured processes and policies. Okay, now in a single phrase, we can say we are basically vision to thoughts to requirements. How do you convert? This is what we do as an analyst. We collect the vision, we collect the background of the vision, we put those thoughts together in a minutes of meeting or in an Excel sheet or whatever you want to be, and then we try to qualify these wish lists to requirements. There can be something like I want to have, like we discussed, the pen manufacturer, right? I want to have a black pen, because normally pen manufacturing start with a black color as body. Not a standard practice, but it's almost, normally, followed everywhere. So even if you have something like a ballpoint pen, you will start with a black color. Well, there are some, personalities who hate black color, so they'll start with a blue color. These are the normal, average historical trends we observed over the years. And these are something like these. These are mentioned in all such common forums. So if I'm going to start a pen manufacturing, I might join a couple of web, based groups of pen manufacturers, which can guide me better, which can let me know, like if I want to go to China or Korea to get some good lathe machines, a really quality based instrument, if I want to go to Germany to procure some good tool sets, and so on and so forth. So all these conversions of vision to thoughts to requirements is basically a business analyst flow. Then we convert this requirement to functionality. What is functionality? Whatever we want to achieve with the date, right? These are what we call functionality. So if you talk about pen manufacturing, I might decide I want to implement the lathe machine from Germany, which is faster, cheaper, fit to my need, and blah, blah, blah things. So via shipping line, because lathe machines are normally really heavy, plastic machine molding are really heavy. So how to acquire them, how to get it shipped to the place of factory where I'm trying to build these things, right? So here I'm trying to getting aligned with the vision and fit it into the reality. That's what the functionality is all about. Build some processes, build some tools. There are tools available, we'll procure them. If it's easier or if it's economical to build a tool, we'll build a tool. Like factories are normally built. Lathe machines are normally ordered. Okay, these are the standard practices. I'm going to follow those processes, or do I have to have exceptions on those processes? And so on and so forth. So there are process analysts or business process analysts as well. There are technical analysts as well, who basically dwell on technicality. There are business analysts who try to understand what is profitability in the solution, which is the most efficient way to build this business, and so on and so forth. So there are various categories of analysts also. We'll learn along the way, right? Let's take a step further. Then try to understand what the management is all about. So project management is the use of specific knowledge, skills, tools, and techniques.
Excuse me. Hi, Ravinder. This is Vandana. So, yeah, business analysis, according to me, is basically, I mean, only a business analyst only focuses on the business side, right? Basically, right?
Let me take a background for that question. In real life, you do analyze, normally they'll give this example, you analyze your refrigerator in the morning.
No, what I have seen, like while I was in IT, a business analyst, I have seen what they just always collected what is, because they always work under a project, right? A project is always done to reduce the cost, reduce the workforce, automate things, a business process, right? Basically.
Right.
So business analyst, like wherever I have worked, so in the projects, when we always had business analysts, and they always actually try to understand the business processes,
Right.
and the IT guys, they converted those business requirements into technical requirements, into technology, right? So they basically more focused on the understanding the business, what is it present, what is the business present right now, and what is the new requirement,
right? The additions or gap or whatever, right?
exactly.
Right. But I'll say this is a kind of stringent way to look at it. I want to broaden the horizon, and I want to start thinking about the analysis as a philosophical term rather than whatever you learned over the over the years. There are analysts called healthcare analysts. These can be doctors, or there are analysts who do crime analysis. Let me take you to that level. These crime analysts are basically retired judge, retired police officers or retired military personnel, mostly. Okay. In North America, this is a common practice to have a crime analyst. Now, what they do, if you look at the sitcoms like FBI, crime report, and all those things, you'll try to understand the role. They normally don't mention these role as in crime analyst, but the crime analyst is basically to reach to the actual place where crime happened and trying to understand what exactly happened. So they'll take pictures, they'll take movie, they'll take whatnot. They'll try to understand how this happens and why this happens. So they try to fit the overall exceptions of a normal life with the day-to-day normal life. Could you understand what I'm trying to say, ma'am?
Yeah.
Yeah. So this is a bigger picture of analyzing to the nth level, because here we are trying to address this shouldn't happen again. In normal scenario, what you did, this new thing has to be accepted by everybody, which is working for so many years, so many months, and so on and so forth. Now, the other side of it is basically these type of analysis as well. So there are something called reactive analysis, proactive analysis. Overall analysis is basically trying to understand the vision to thoughts to requirements. So vision in the sense, if you want to, envision what I want to achieve, right? So let's say we are talking about Niagara Falls trip. So how do you analyze this trip? Do I have a vehicle? Do I need a vehicle? Can I walk down? How many people should be with me? Should I go alone? Yeah, that can be a scenario, right? Because if I'm a personally enjoy with myself, then I'll go alone. But normally, if you go on a leisure trip, that's a normality. Again, this normality comes, right? Because we adopted to a framework of social life. So we normally go with at least 1 or 2 or 3, if possible, as many family members as we can, so that we can enjoy more. There's again a framework of North American culture. There's a framework of Indian social culture. You can understand this much better than me because you are like, right? You have faced these odds in a much grievous sense. So this is all about analysis, thinking about how to improve, how to adopt, or how to be flexible, how to understand vision, convert it to thoughts, convert it to requirements, convert it to the functionality. That's what the analysis is all about. We'll read about the bookish definition also. So you'll get the complete end to end, right? So that's how the analysis work. Does that make sense, ma'am?
Yeah.
And think it through, and we can debate it on the next, session as well. Don't worry on that part, okay? Because the understanding what analyst does is really important at a ground level. Once you understand that, choosing the tool is just like, trying to choose white shirt or black shirt, something like that. Okay, so that's a kind of cosmetic thing. But overall, you should understand what analysts, what management is hell about. Because I've seen many project managers, they don't understand the management of the project, from the project management. Unless you understand the management, there's no, you couldn't initiate a new process. You couldn't improve your day-to-day life, as simple as that. So we need to understand the analyst at its ground. We need to understand the management of it at the ground. Okay. And then we can build, we can choose the tools. We can even go and try to create a tool for myself as well. And that's how I want you to learn. I want you to improve day by day. Okay. So let's move ahead. Any questions at this point? Anybody?
No.
Okay, great. Let's go ahead. So let's talk about management, project management. Project management is the use of specific knowledge, skills, and tools and techniques to deliver something of a value to people. So we are creating something new, something unique. We'll look at the definition of project management as well. Product management, service management, and a common definition, and then specific definition as well. These definitions are basically kind of improved phrases over the time, where it basically encompasses each and every permutation combination as far as these phrases goes. The development of software is an improved business process. The construction of a building, the relief effort after a national disaster. These are all projects. The expansion of a sales into a new geographic market. So if I have a well-settled company in North America and I want to expand my operations in Canada, I'll check out what are the things needs to be done. This is kind of project. Even the analysis of these things is a project. These are the all examples of a project. So we need to understand what is a project, what we're trying to do exactly, what is our core objective. So core objective is basically one single, aim where we want to target. You can't have 60 different aims. One core, and then you can have subsidiary or you can have supporting aims. That's we can do, but there should be one core objective always. So whenever you do analysis as well, so you have to have one core objective. That's a need of, there's a normal framework we are adopted already. That's a best practices we have adopted. We need to understand management. What do we mean by management? Management is not control as always thought about. Management is all about improvement to make life easy. If you can't make your life easy, if you're making life hell for somebody, you're not doing management. You are just trying to be arrogant, egoistic, and so on and so forth. So we need to understand from that aspect, and we'll understand from definition, and then we'll try to understand from various examples as well. Then what are the tools and process? How these tools and process is going to help me out to be better manager, to be better analyst, and we'll learn those few tools. We'll learn the best practices across industries. We'll try to understand how the person prior to me have improved the process, how I can take it to the next level, how to think like project manager, program manager, CIO, CFO, and other roles, responsibilities, and daily job executions. Why I'm not a CAO? Why I'm not a president of America, USA? Why not? Because that's a difficult job. Believe me, everything which we are not chosen as our career is different from my thought process. Is different from what I am liking, or what I don't have in terms of tools and techniques or processes within me as in personality. And that's how we keep improving. And that's how we keep aligned to our basic life aim. We keep analyzing, we keep managing, we keep improving day by day. Okay. And then we'll have lots and lots of hands-on workshop. This can be homework. This can be, we can do it together within the sessions as well. Anybody have any questions for me on project management as of now?
No.
Okay, let's go ahead. Then these are the basically frameworks: Agile, Agility, Scaled Agile. As a matured organization, or as an organization, as a company which is in existence for let's say around 2 years, 3 years, or which is just getting started, we call them startups. They need to build some policies and procedures. Policies and procedures are like the employee or the worker should come start work at 9 a.m. in the morning, should work at till 6 a.m. in the morning. So have a look at labor law, how much they allow us, what type of remuneration I can give. For a typical office boy or office administration, I need to give so many dollars per year. For a manager, I need to give so many dollars per year. This is depending upon the tools and techniques and domain of work, my profitability and everything as well. So I need to build this framework for my organization. I need to build some tactical goal. I need to build some strategic goals. Tactical goals are for the next 6 weeks. Strategic goals are normally after 6 weeks. Means these are long-term plans, short-term plans. Okay, then need to build an overall path for growth of careers of everybody, growth of organizations, and trying to understand how my product will grow step by step. When I'll start manufacturing, when I'll basically try to market it to a region where I can achieve maximum profitability. Just to give you an example, if I start selling apple in California, which is a producer of apples, right? They'll be sold at a much lesser price. If I start selling apple in St. Louis, Midwest region, where apple don't grow on tree, but you can have a tree, but you don't get that good crop there. So apples are normally imported in St. Louis or Midwest area from California. Now, when I get some land in California and plant some apple tree, I normally pack those apples to be transported to St. Louis. There are some decay, aging, or perishable items. So these things do happen. And in St. Louis, I sell them at a rate. As my organization goal is to earn profit, if I'm earning profit, good. Earning profit in the range of, this range also I need to decide first before start purchasing the land. And this is what the analysis is all about. Build a vision, build the overall thought process to a last number. The more you do research, the more you can achieve with the definite targets. Now there's a balance to be achieved here. How long I have to do analysis and then move to management. That's also another way to think. There are people who keep analyzing over the ages and they don't really start something. So management is all about getting actionated from the analysis we have learned. So whatever you learned, whatever the vision you have captured, had to be implemented somewhere or start implementing. And that's what the management is all about. Okay. And with this, we have some standardized framework like Agile. Agility is flexibility. Ability to complete and thrive the digital age by quickly responding to the market changes. So if there's a cold in California, the apples won't grow in the numbers which I have expected. So either I need to raise the price or I need to find a market where I can sell these apples with much better price. So I need to find out emerging opportunities with innovative digital enable business solution. Now, what do you mean by digital enable? I can go to Google and search where I can sell the apples at a much better rate. So I'll try to find out rate of apples in Texas. I'll try to find out rate of apples in Spain. I try to find out rate of apples in India. I might, produce apple in North America and sell in India. Well, this is not a normal scenario, but this can be a possibility. If the apples in India is costlier than North America, I might sell my California produced apples in India as well if I'm getting profit. But as I'm what you can say, manufacturing and selling, if it has to be done at a good profit margin, then only it's possible to sell across country, because then there's a customs and other additional cost of airlifting, shipments and all those things as well. So these things has to be analyzed before I start setting up. I just took a raw example, right? You can think example more near to your experiences so that you can relate what is agility, what do you mean by flexibility, how the flexibility is part of a business now. So whenever I start building a new product, there is a need of flexibility inbuilt into the overall progression of the product or creation of the product, so that I can adapt to that flexibility. So business agility requires that everyone involved in delivering solutions. So it's not just me, because I work in a team, right? So the business and the technology leader, the development and IT operation, the legal, marketing, finance, support, blah, 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 use lean and agile practice. So they should be also trained and they should also understand the thought process. What do you mean by flexibility? How I can bring agile practices to continually deliver innovative, high quality products, services, projects faster than the competition, so that I can earn better day by day. I can improve my organizational profitability day by day. So even profitability is also continuously improvement track. Does that make sense? Or have I missed any thought process?
No, it's
Could
good.
you relate these things to your day-to-day life?
Yeah.
Great. Chalo. Let's move forward. Okay. Today let's end at around 10:30, so that you'll have efficient time to revise as well. I'll share the recording in few minutes as the servers gets processed, and even Devji will release these recordings for public. Okay. Now let's try to throw some light on overall business analyst concept and the tools and techniques we're going to learn. Okay, so this is a kind of overall standardization of a improvement in trying to analyze a solution, analyze a product idea, analyze a vision, okay, and then try to improve ourselves day by day. As a BA, we do requirement gathering. What is requirement gathering? We try to understand the vision. We might sit with the CEO, CTO, the visionary leader of an organization, and he or she will share this thought process with you. And from that thought process, you try to understand the vision and the background, try to create some requirement. And this is what we call requirement gathering. So you sit up with think like you gone and meet Steve Jobs of whenever he trying to create an Apple phone or trying to bring the Apple phone into the market. It was in, I think, late 90s, right? And I'm not very correct with these year numbers, but still. And as an analyst, you try to understand his vision of creating an Apple iPhone. So what he was thinking about usability engineering. He was thinking about making a phone which is a very high quality, which is really, efficient as far as touch screen goes or touch technology goes, which is really efficient in terms of the battery packs, in terms of the processing powers, and so on and so forth. So he bought up the best in everything, created an iPhone, which is almost three times price than the costliest phone available in the market. And he started selling iPhone. And that idea picked up almost after 3.5 years to basically a market hit. I'm sharing this, case study because we are thinking about a market capability of accepting new things, a market capability of spending for a product which is thrice costlier than the available product in the market, and still it's a hit. Now iPhone is a big brand. It's not about the profit you earn per sale. It's about the overall, the reach of your product to the consumers. The more consumer accepts your product, the more reach of you in the market. Now think about this way also. The Samsung, which is almost means the best product in Samsung, which is almost at a half of the price of the best product of Apple. Means if you're comparing the product price. So the number of Samsungs are much at a highest level, but still due to the profitability or what we call top margins, Apple is earning better than Samsung. Even Samsung is selling in multiple times of Apples as far as phone goes. Does that make sense to you? Because we are not talking about just the profitability. We are talking about the market reach, and there are various such angles attached to it rather than just to create a product or just to create a requirement from a vision. Okay, and how do we do it? How do we gather requirements? We gather requirements with meetings. We meet with these leaders, CIOs, CTOs, the visionaries of the world, and we try to collect their vision with minutes of meeting. And normally recording these minutes of meeting as an audio file is a normal practice. But in North America and Canada, it's better to be explicitly specify that I'm going to record this meeting. If you look at all those Zoom, Google Meet, and all these online tools, there's a facility to record these meetings, right? And that's why all these tools are basically made for business analysts. And we'll think about how business analyst is being done day to day. And if it's recorded, what type of advantages do I have? Of course, when it's got recorded, you have advantages of listening to it, visualizing those stuff again and again, so that you won't miss a single point in the requirement. So that's why we normally have a document normally created called minutes of meeting, or referred as MOM. So whenever you go to an analyst meet, normally they'll talk about MOM, they talk about a record file. So these are all related to these meetings. So recorded file can be audio file or audio visual as well. Depending upon the policies and procedure of organizations you work in, you normally tend to record these meetings as well. Now, how do you formalize this requirements? We try to create document like system requirement specification or system requirement document. Now, a typical BA does create the system requirement document after meeting the visionary leaders couple of times. It's not just the one meet. There could be 2 meets, 3 meets. There are scenarios which are kind of exceptional. There are around 15 or 20 odd meets we had before started actually creating the SRS or SRD. So these things do happen depending upon the complexity, depending upon the adaptability of change, depending upon the management and detailing required for the project or the project requirements as well. So that's why what we talk about SRS, SRD. The tools we used are basically unified modeling language called UML diagrams, a bird's eye view called high level diagram, a conceptual diagram or a logical diagram where we try to draw out requirements in a few lines and a blocks to help us out to understand the vision mission in a depth. We don't follow these each and every time, but most of the time. So there are some practices which are done each and every time, and depending upon where you work, you follow these procedures. So we're going to learn some best practices. We're going to understand how the industry in a particular domain they work. Okay, the major industry which I have worked on is IT, logistic, travel, and few others like banking and all. So my experience will basically come at play here, and we talk mostly about the IT companies. And as far as Guru Schools goes, we have partners with good number of IT companies as well. So probability of you joining an IT company are much higher than in any other domain. So we'll talk about more, about IT company and their policies and procedures. And then we try to build these requirement specification documents. And then we'll start converting these to something called functional specification. Okay, but normally in IT, the functional specifications are created by the designers and the architect, which are led by a project manager. Okay, and I'm going to share these templates with you, templates of the documents from my previous experiences, and even some from the others who shared with me who have joined a company in North America currently. So these templates will help you out to understand what it contains exactly when you talk about MOM, when you talk about SRS. Okay, SRS is owned by business analyst. So SRS is one of the most important document a business analyst created. Okay, own means you own that document as an author, as a creator. When you talk about FRS are owned by the designers and the architect, and the project manager is a reviewing authority or an advisory authority. These roles and responsibility does play a quite crucial and important part whenever you work in a corporate culture, because these roles and responsibility are different for different levels, different for different auditory artifact or documents. Auditory artifacts, basically, these are the artifacts which used as an auditory supplement or as an auditory evidence saying, okay, you perform this process. So when you say I have performed requirement gathering, somebody will ask you for minutes of meeting. When you say I have formalized the requirement, somebody will ask you for a SRS or SRD. So when you create SRS or SRD, it implicitly or explicitly mentions that you have gone through a formalization of a requirement type of process. So all these auditory artifacts help the auditors or help the senior management let you specify that you have performed these processes. So that's why auditory artifacts are a kind of requirement for overall your work in a day-to-day life at a corporate level. Then there are various additional tools which we're going to learn, like what you mean by modular diagrams, low-level diagrams, class diagram, and object diagrams. But we'll just review these names one by one, because as a business analyst or as a project manager, we don't create these diagrams. We normally have a look at these diagrams from an advisory perspective view or from an auditory artifact view. We'll come to that why, when, and how, and those scenarios. Does anybody have any questions on business analysis basic concept right now?
No.
Okay. Now these words, these names are really important, because whenever you work in IT, they normally keep speaking these words. And IT or like every profession, like medical doctors, they use their own word. The army people, they use their own word. The Air Force people, they use their own word. Like that, IT people have their language, and this is a kind of those words which comes quite often if you speak to any IT or software guy. guy or girl, or kind of, guy who's working in IT field or IT company, they normally speak these words like, left and right, the SRS, the FRD. They don't really keep detailing about these acronyms, but still, yes, we need to learn these words to a great level, because whenever we are giving interview, we need to answer these in these acronyms. That will basically substantiate your claim for that job. Okay, chalo. So let's take a step further. Now, in a concise way, what do you mean by analyst? What do you do actually? So you communicate with the client, you sit with the client, you meet with the client. Client is basically a guy or a girl or a business party who wants to create a new product or a new project. So communicating with them, obtaining technical requirement, obtaining business requirement, trying to detailing of business processes. That's what the business analysts do. Then we basically interview stakeholders. Stakeholder in the sense end user. So if you are making an iPhone, I'll go to the market and talk to somebody who's going to purchase that iPhone. Then I build something called BPMN, business process modeling. What is that N for? Oh man. Business processing model.
Network, is it network or?
I believe so. Let me, you can do a Google as